Next up, we have someone that you all know, but you may not know that you know him. I promise you do, though. And if you don't, you're obviously not on your phone very often. Carlos Perez is a small business corridor meme activator. Say that. It's almost as long as Gary Sweeney's title. Carlos is the founder of Way Out Kombucha, a non-alcoholic microbrewery located in the Deco Memes district. He ferments native Texan tea into delicious kombucha. Carlos started Deco Memes district on Instagram as a way to highlight the challenges of running a small business on a high-speed road like Fredericksburg. He is a believer in intentional corridor building to fight for localism, safety, and genuine community in San Antonio. Memes can be a language of informed change. Ladies and gentlemen, Carlos Perez.
What's up, y'all? I saw a bunch of people leaving, so we'll try to make this entertaining. So it's kind of absurd to run a small business in San Antonio. It's just kind of an interesting exercise. I think what we started, we kind of learned that we're building like a cultural asset more so than a financial asset. And it's kind of an absurd thing. So we started Way Out Kombucha. We're in the Deco district, and it's kind of a weird place to be along Fredericksburg. So it's weird to be here for making memes, not for fermenting native tea and opening a small business. So yeah, that's our storefront right there, and that's the plant that we ferment. It's pretty crazy. We're sort of the, I don't know, we live in the neighborhood and we opened a shop. We kind of jumped into it. And there's just been so many challenges, such as, where is your shop? Nobody really knows where the Deco district is. You can say Monticello Park, you can say Keystone, you can say Fredericksburg and Hildebrand. But, you know, it's an odd situation where you're not downtown enough and you're not west side enough. You can just say you're by Woodlawn Lake, you're by Jefferson High School. You can identify as being close to another small business like Cool Crest or by the bodega. You know, you see, I think that's an interesting thing. Like, these small businesses resonate so much with all of us who identify as quote unquote living downtown. And yeah, so that's an interesting picture of the Woodlawn Theater when it was poppin'. Fredericksburg itself has a lot of history. It's sort of the halfway point of one of the first highways, the Old Spanish Trail, and San Antonio has always been sort of an important part. So the question in what we've done, it's like, are we building community or are we getting customers? But truthfully, everyone's kind of in their cars in San Antonio, even if you identify as being a person who lives downtown. You're either at HEB or a place like Pearl or La Cantera, or, you know, just on I-35. So that's why we started the Memes District. Memes hit deeper, you know. On your left side, you can see your friend who bailed on you and didn't come to this, and, you know, you want to leave already, but you're not. And then I can also point out, while we're here, the Tobin Center was built with $100 million for a bond in 2008 and a lot of private donation, but this is pretty cool that we get to have this glorified high school assembly in here. On your left, you'll see soldiers marching down Fredericksburg Road in the early 1900s. So it's kind of crazy to imagine how far we've come in just 100 years. So we're all just wondering, is Hildebrand between San Pedro and McCullough 1 or 2 lanes? And, you know, it's crazy, the Blanca Roundabout came about in 2014, and it's essentially taken 10 years to kind of have some sort of small business residual effects in that corridor. So San Antonio is a city of Stroads. This meme was made by Luis Escalante of Weston Urban. And Stroads are the worst parts of a road and a street. Streets are where cities happen, and roads are meant to connect corridors. TxDOT owns a lot of our signature Stroads, so if you wanted a complete street on Broadway, good luck. Take it up with TxDOT. So what is the future of culture in San Antonio? Is this what we're going to look like? We stupidly opened a small business in the Deco District, a place nobody knows. And you know, it's weird to think that we represent this algorithmic opportunity, not just with personal real estate, but you know, commercial. So here's what else we do in the memes district. We talk about Elian Gonzalez. We highlight the Balcones Heights corridor. It'll always be crossroads to me. So yeah, memes, they make people laugh. You're entertained. Isn't this great? Another theme is the Austinification of San Antonio. One day, will we be a metroplex like the DFW? Will Austin absorb San Marcos, New Braunfels, Kyle, Selma? Is it all ending? Is our culture at risk? Are we all going to be Austinites one day? That's a question. It might happen. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's happening. It'll bring tech jobs. Driving around San Antonio, you're just pointing out what buildings should be. But we're essentially trying to reconnect with what we were before all these highway systems existed, just wrapping around town, driving people around. And of course, these are some of the signature memes. You know, I have to say for the record, I am jealous of Alamo Heights. It's a great, you know, they support their small businesses in Alamo Heights, and they have a lot of communities. So I'm glad you're, you know, do I even need to talk? So essentially, I don't know, I think small businesses are important in terms of not just preserving culture, but, you know, building in the future. And a lot of my friends have small businesses. I personally think they should be 2 to 4 times as busy. We should design in neighborhoods that benefit them. And I don't know, we don't need to just expand all San Antonio into the infinite abysses until we're a metroplex. Actually, when Balcones Heights along Fredericksburg started, they actually cut off city services to them, and that was in 1948. So it's pretty crazy to think about this like annexation mindset when all of us are clearly here desperate for community, and it's cool. So in the middle, you'll see a lot of the Cockerel, Henry Cisneros, Sean Elliott, and the Spurs Coyote setting off an economic detonator. So you see the building the hemisphere, or you'll see the neighborhood hemisphere displaced, and you'll see these buildings, these sports arenas that we built for teams that essentially are never going to come. So let's just put money back into neighborhoods, do some cool stuff. San Antonio, just make it more San Antonio, and start to build things that are worth preserving in 100 years or 300 years. And I don't know, I think we all like living here, so you can always get more San Antonio. So that's all I got.
Carlos!
Thank you.
Thank you, I'm with that.
I got the Paul Jolly handshake.
Oh yeah, well, you know, I've got a lot more of those. Yeah. So, hey, so I just wanted to point out, I really love that photograph of Woodlawn. And once that showing of Lawrence of Arabia lets out, it's going to get really busy over there. That's a long movie.
We're a corridor of inclusion.
Yeah, exactly. So, what are some of your favorite small businesses?
I don't know. I'll just shout out people that I saw here.
Yeah.
Future D1 Councilman Aaron Pena of Squeezebox. Just spreading rumors. Brian LaBarbera of State Coffee. He just released a coffee in conjunction with the Spurs this week, so that's pretty cool. I mean, anyone who stocks our kombucha, NACO 210 and Oya Express, they're awesome too, so shout out to them. Yeah.
So I think something that really comes through when you get past the humor of it, obviously, is because obviously you had an entire crowd of people laughing, but and as your hat says, is the extreme empathy that goes into this. I mean, it very much is a passion project, is it not?
Yeah, I don't think we're making enough money to call it a financial endeavor for sure, but you know, maybe one day we'll galvanize community, or maybe, you know, we'll be horribly disenfranchised and move to Dallas or something.
Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Arlington.
Yeah.
So, but what do you think keeps, other than the obvious, where we have just sometimes friggin' idiots in control. Not all of them. There's some really non-idiots. But what do you think keeps us moving toward this sensationalism of, there's got to be a Dollar Tree on every corner. There's got to be a Metro PCS. I mean, do you think we're just that damn lazy that we can't seek out independent places to shop?
Yeah, I don't know. I think just like it all comes down to algorithmically, like where there's a Metro PCS, they're seeing that against a spot in New York City, and it's like, oh, sure, it's only $3,100 a month, and to a small business like us, that's like crazy, but it's like, to them, it's cheap, so it's just like they're just gonna keep popping up in San Antonio. It's just interesting to kind of see it happening.
We kind of live in an interesting time of that. Okay, and then just kind of my last question for you. What the heck with the golf carts, right? I mean, seriously, people used to walk. I mean, I know where I live, and I know where all of the people in my neighborhood live, and they can all walk to where they're going on their golf carts. So what the heck with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an ally to the golf cart community, so.
Oh, well, okay, never mind.
Micromobility.
I thought we were together, but I guess, agree to disagree. Carlos Perez, thank you very much.